Hi everyone, it's Julie here at the Paper Bag Lady One, and today I want to show you a junk journal that I made. I am in a junk journal swap over at minialbumscraps.ning.com, and it's a partner swap. My partner is Alyson. So Alyson, if you happen to be seeing this and you do not want to see what it looks like before it gets to you, turn back now. But at any rate, here it is. So this is my junk journal. Alyson said that she wanted a vintage, kind of earthy look to her junk journal. And actually the theme for this junk journal, I should have said, is it was to be a gratitude junk journal in which we can record things for which we're thankful and grateful and all those things. And the requirements for this swap was that the journal had to be 5 by 7, at least 5 by 7, but no larger than 10 by 6. I believe this one's about 5.5 by 9. It had to have at least 30 pages in it. It had to have 3 handmade pockets and at least 4 embellishments. So here is mine. So let's get started. First of all, for the covers of the junk journal, well, I guess another requirement I should say was that the chipboard covers had to be painted or covered with paper or something like that. And I asked Alyson if she would object to having the covers be from an old book, and she said that would be fine. So I actually used the covers from an old hymnal, and I believe it said spiritual songs and hymns or something like that on the cover. But as you can see, I just sort of covered up most of it so that it says, if you can see that, Songs of Thanksgiving. And these little tiny letters are tiny type from Cosmo Cricket. And then these right here are just from vintage crocheted linen pieces. I love to collect them, and I try to get the big long pieces that have all sorts of different patterns and designs in them, and then I cut them into smaller ones to use as flowers. So that is what all these are. All these were cut from larger pieces. And there's some different vintage buttons on there. I used book rings to bind it. I do have a cinch, however, I wanted to leave the option open for her to rearrange pages or to add or take away or whatever she wanted to do. So I used 2-inch book rings, and then here for the bindings I just used an assortment of different laces and ribbons and trims that I had in my stash. And then again, another little lace, a crocheted lace from my stash down there. So let's go inside. The inside I covered the front cover and as well the back cover with Tim Holtz Craft Resist paper. This is a library pocket. I am not counting that as a handmade pocket since I didn't actually make the pocket, although I did cover it. And into the pocket here I stuck 2 little vintage, I believe there's some sort of seamstress tags on them. If you can see, it has pattern, order, description, that sort of thing. I'm only assuming that's what it is. I got them at a flea market once. And then down here again I have some more of the little crocheted doilies. And up here is a butterfly fussy cut from, again, the Tim Holtz paper. And I just adhered it in the center. It does get a little flat when the book's closed, but it can pop up for some dimension there. This is also from the same paper pack. And then up here in the corner you can see a Scrabble tile with the letter T. I have plain craft pages of the pattern paper throughout, and you'll see as you go through they spell down here with Scrabble tiles thankful. So there's a different letter on each one. This here is this is a page from a book that I bought at a thrift shop that is some sort of I think it's called like a record of ancestry, and it had all sorts of charts and lines and numbers, and it didn't really have directions on how to fill it in, but I thought it'd be very interesting to cut up and use in junk journals and that sorts of things. And then I stamped this lion on here over the part where you can't really see it there, but it does say coat of arms. That's a lion, and the stamp is made by Rubber Trouble. Here is some paper from the My Mind's Eye Life Stories paper pad. Alyson said she liked craft paper, so you'll see that throughout. And this corner stamp here is from limited edition. This is a page, you can see it says thank or thanks, sticking with the theme. I love children's dictionaries. I love them. I love all dictionaries, but I love children's picture dictionaries. And this page came from a children's dictionary. I must have about 15 or 20 of them. But, and it still kind of looks earthy in there. Here's just some plain craft paper with another one of those butterflies and some lace from my stash. Vintage bingo card. This is a page from a 1963 Farmer's Almanac. Alyson is actually in England, and so I thought this was kind of fun to put in. It has Pennsylvania firsts and has some little bits of information. I live in Pennsylvania. And here's another piece of paper from the My Mind's Eye Life Stories. And this little, I don't even remember where I got these from. They looked like they were from some sort of a calendar, but I thought they were fun. And this little stamp at the bottom, that's the one I didn't write down and I can't remember what it's from. Nope, can't remember. Anyway, here's a page from a hymnal, Now Thank We All Our God. Some more little scraps from the Life Stories paper. Here's more Tim Holtz paper. There's the H. And I have these flashcards throughout too. I love old flashcards. I have oodles and oodles of them. But they will spell thanks throughout the journal. This is, I don't know how well you can see that. It's, you know, I can't really remember what it's called. It's one of those devices that you put this in it, and when you look through it, because there's two pictures there, it does something to it and kind of makes it look 3D. The name of that device is escaping my mind, but this is an old vintage photo that was used in that I got at a flea market or probably an antique mall once upon a time. This is some old ledger paper. I love old school ledgers and things like that I got at a thrift store, and there's a couple pages of that stamped with a butterfly from Cloud9 Designs. Here is some more of those vintage seamstress tags, just tied with a little bit of lace. And here is the first of my 3 handmade pockets. This was made with 3 paper bags. Actually, I think it was 2, just sort of cut down to different sizes. They were wine bottle bags, I believe. A friend's husband worked at a state store, and she brought me a whole big pack of these bags. So I trimmed them and adhered them all together with some pattern paper. Again, that's the Tim Holtz paper. And here in the top we have a happiness meter. Okay, I guess you can't really see that. There's a happiness meter. That is from the My Mind's Eye paper. And little bits and pieces of the ledger paper edges that I had to trim off with some sort of cotton lace from my stash. And these stamps, let me see if I can remember what they are. These 2 are from K & Company, a little K & Company set, and this one is a limited edition stamp. And then when you flip the paper bag pocket over, we have 2 more pockets that I used some coffee dyed shipping tags, and then some more of the seamstress tags. And there's some little tags, tiny ones up at the top. There's 3 different pouches there. This is a Fisker's stamp, I believe. This one is from a company called Sweetgrass Stamps that I purchased online, and this one is, I believe it's a Studio G. There's a people flashcard. Here is another piece from the My Mind's Eye, and this is a Fisker's corner stamp. This is just an old envelope. Alyson had mentioned using envelopes, so I stamped that with it's an Inka-Dinka-Doo stamp, so you can use that to put things in. Here's just a I believe it's a 4-inch chipboard coaster that was covered with paper. And actually, my friend Cody sent me a stack of those that she had started a project with and never finished. So I became the lucky recipient. So I just thought that was something kind of fun, and it certainly is earthy looking. More Tim Holtz paper with the A, taking us into the thankful word. Here's the page from one of my many, many dictionaries, and I don't know if you can see that there, if it's going to focus. Nope, doesn't want to focus. Anyway, the arrow points to the word thank. More of the My Mind's Eye paper, more ledger with the Cloud9 butterfly stamps. All these butterfly stamps on the ledger paper are from Cloud9 Design. Oops. And here we come to my second handmade pocket. This is a coin roll, and I coffee dyed it and ironed it, and then used some pattern paper, the Tim Holtz pattern paper on both sides, and then it's got a little pull out coffee, I think that's coffee dyed tag with a little tab on it. This is not a real vintage flashcard. I don't know where it came from. Someone sent it to me, but it's got some journaling on the back. Here's another one of the butterflies on the cardstock with some more trim from my stash. This, I love this. This is an old envelope from Mr. Elmer Cameron going to Chambersburg in Franklin County, Pennsylvania, November of 1892. And if I'm not mistaken, it came with the innards, which was a wedding invitation of some sort. But when I got it, I think I got it in an antique mall, the edge was already torn. No, you know what? I got it at an auction in a box full of stuff. Anyway, the envelope was already torn that way. That's the way they opened the envelope. So I just put that in and put a tag in there for another pocket. Not one of my handmade pockets, but a pocket. Here are some tally sheets from, I believe that is a Bridge, from Bridge. Card game tally sheets. Some more of the paper from the Ancestry thing. And this stamp, if you can see down there, is also from Rubber Trouble. Scrabble Tile N, H in Thank. More ledger paper, and that dress form stamp is from the Girls Papery, I'm not sure how you say it. Another one of the little coasters, another bingo card. This is a page from an old Jack and Jill magazine, and the picture, actually, this is a reproduction of a painting of the Pilgrims and the Indians at the first Thanksgiving in 1621. So I thought that was appropriate given the theme of thankfulness. This is an old Jack and Jill Jell-O box that I got in an antique mall with just 2 coffee dyed tags in it. More paper from My Mind's Eye. More of the Ancestry paper. And this one has a little unicorn stamped in it. Again, that's the Rubber Trouble. Here's another envelope. Whoops. And this one, you can see, has a little hole in there, so I suppose she could put something in there if she wanted something to show through there. And the hearts that going around that is actually from a stamp set that I got at Oriental Trading Company. Here's more of the My Mind's Eye paper, and this stamp is also from the Girls Papery stamp set from the same set that the dress form was in. And here is my third handmade pocket, which is using the Tim Holtz paper. Made a little pocket there, but then I actually used a zipper. The zipper will actually open and close very carefully, and I don't feel confident enough to do that with one hand, or I would show you. And then I put 2 of the seamstress tags in there. And that, both of these stamps, I believe, are from K & Company. There's the A in thanks. Here's another page from a children's dictionary, Thankful, Thanks, and Thanksgiving. More from the My Mind's Eye, and this is just some sort of old flashcard that I coffee dyed. More cardstock with another butterfly. Here's a time card that actually my friend Holly sent me. She sent a stack of them in a junk journal that she made me, so I thought I would pass one along. Here's another one of those little coin roll pockets. Here's a piece from an old Scrabble board. I love old games, and I have a huge stash of old game boards. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them all. I have made a couple of albums out of them. Rather than using chipboard, I use the old game boards. But if anybody has any really bright ideas of what to do with them, let me know. Or if anybody's in the market for any old game boards, let me know. Here's an old green stamp book. I love these. I remember when I was a kid going to the grocery store with my mom, and then at the end they'd sort of put your total into this little, looked like a little rotary telephone, and twist it, and the number of green stamps would come out. And then you get to go home and paste them in the book. So here's an old green stamp book. More ledger paper with another one of the butterflies from Cloud9 Designs. Tim Holtz paper, Ancestry paper, and this crown stamp is, I believe, All Night Media. Here's a vintage postcard. It says, make new friends, but keep the old. The first are silver and the latter gold. And this is from 1912. It looks like that postcard was sent. My Mind's Eye paper, and that's an Inka-Dinka-Doo stamp in the corner. More seamstress tags, another coaster. That's also an Inka-Dinka-Doo stamp. This is an old, it's called the Primary Pupils Leaflet. I believe it came from a big box of stuff that I got from my in-laws' house when they moved and really had to downsize. My father-in-law is a pastor, and my mother-in-law taught Sunday school and did all that sort of things. And these were the kind of things that they would give out at Sunday school. But the reason I chose this one to put in here is that at the very back you can say, it says, "We will thank our Heavenly Father for," and again, sticking with the theme of being thankful. My mind's eye paper, and this little corner stamp I think is from Stampendous. This is an old stencil that actually came from a set of, I think, Bible school, Sunday school stencils, but I thought that was kind of fun and different. Here's some sort of flashcard, F for friends, which is another thing we can be thankful for. Tim Holtz paper with the U. Here's the N. Here is another old dictionary page, and since my camera doesn't want to focus, I'll just tell you down here, stamped inside this little stamp, is the word grateful. Here's a vintage flashcard. Here is more ledger paper. The happiness stamp comes from Studio G, and then the butterfly is the Cloud9 Designs. There's a couple pages of that. Here's another one of those envelopes, and those stamps are also Studio G. Here's the last of the vintage bingo cards. Another craft paper with the butterfly. This is a war ration book, coupon book, that belonged to my mother-in-law. It is empty now, but I just thought that was kind of something fun and old. I wish it had a date on it, but I don't seem to see one. But this was when she lived in Parkersburg, and it was before she was married, because that is her maiden name. But anyway, I thought that was something fun in there. More of the ancestry paper, and that little lion is from a Stampendous stamp set. More of the My Mind's Eye paper, and the chandelier is from an Inka-Dinka-Doo stamp set. Oops. Here's the L, so finally we reached the end of thankful. Here's the K, and actually I think it just says thank, not thanks. So that's the last one of that. Here's another couple sheets of the ancestry book, and that little dragon guy is from the Rubber Trouble. Another coaster. Here is looks like a report card from 1927 from Perry County Public Schools. I don't know if there must possibly be more than one Perry County in the country, but there is a Perry County very near me, and my friend Cody actually got this in a lot of ephemera that she bought I don't know how long ago. And when she told me, I said, aha, we have a Perry County near here. So she sent a couple of these to me. So this looks like Doris's report card. Doris was a pretty solid C student back in 1927. Some more bridge sheets, more from the My Mind's Eye, and that's a Fisker stamp. And then we reach the end with the last of the fussy cut butterflies. So that is my junk journal. I hope that Alyson loves it. I had so much fun putting it together, and honestly, I'm kind of sad now that I'm done because it's finished. I need to find a new project. I need to join another swap or do something. But anyway, if anybody has any questions about this or anything I used in that, feel free to message me. Alyson, again, I hope you really enjoy it. And thanks so much, everyone, for watching, and have a great day. Bye.